let's move on to the Vancouver Canucks, who have got to be at a breaking point. And we'll start with morning skate yesterday. JT Miller looking not thrilled. His ice time has been down. And I'm going to spoil this one for you. It went downer during the game. But let's have a listen to JT Miller talking about it in the pregame.
JT, your ice time on the trip, as it progressed, decreased a little bit. Is that, in your mind, what do you think has led to that?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably could play a little better. I don't know.
You've been over your time here. There's been a lot of success on the ice. You've been praised at times. You've been criticized, but you've always kind of been the emotional heartbeat of this team. That emotional side we've seen less of just from the outside. Do you see it that way? Like, do you feel that part might be a little bit missing, or how do you see where you're at?
I don't know. It's probably for you guys to interpret, right? I'm not really conscious of it.
JT, LA is a team that doesn't give up much offensively. What's the key to creating those opportunities against them?
You have to be willing to play an ugly game, get inside, get cross-check, be physical, stuff like that. If you're committed there, you'll have success.
Spent a bit of time, I think, before the third period of the last game, talking to the trainer. There's been some suggestion that maybe you're dealing with an injury. I know you're not going to get into specifics, but how healthy are you?
You just answered your question. I'm good.
So
JT Miller, everybody.
I don't think he did answer the question.
Nope.
He said, I'm not going to get into specifics.
Yeah, that's
his way of saying.
Oh,
Sure.
okay, I understand.
Sure.
I mean, his second answer kind of says it all. I'm fucking done with you assholes. He's just fed up with the media entirely, and sort of came to life when he was asked about, and I'm not criticizing the media when I say this, the game. Mm-hmm. I think he's so tired about being asked about everything surrounding hockey that he's like, just ask me about the friggin' game in front of me. And then he got asked about the LA Kings, and he's like, all right, here you go.
Now,
You thought that was coming to life?
Well, compared to the other three answers.
I thought that answer too was just like
it was terse.
I'm just gonna say words so I can get this over with. You got to cross check. You got to get dirty. That's it.
The overall theme was, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah.
It was, listen, everyone is on JT Miller right now. Deservedly so.
Yeah,
and I'm
for a reason.
I know. I'm trying to give him any little breadcrumb I can.
What if he hasn't earned breadcrumb?
No,
hey.
What?
That's what the money's for.
Yeah. Like,
that's what the money's for.
I know he's not loving it right now, but Adam makes a valid point. I think a lot of people are going to be like, listen, he's a human being. He's clearly going through a hard time right now.
I don't think a lot of Canucks fans are going to give him that.
Give me a sec.
Sorry.
Like, he's going through a hard time right now. Blah, 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 blah. How much money you make per game?
Probably a lot.
You got to play, and you got to play well. Mm-hmm. You make, what does he make? 8.5?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Jesus.
So that's $100,000 per game.
How many forwards make more money than him? Petey? I think that's it. How many Canucks make more money than he makes more than Quinn Hughes, doesn't he?
I don't know what Quinn makes.
I want to say it's 7.5.
Oh, that's
or maybe I'm
steal.
thinking
That's
of his
crazy.
previous deal.
Yeah.
Dude. Whatever. You're the second highest paid forward on the team.
Yeah.
We need you.
Now, let's have a look at the fourth LA Kings goal. Jesse, I just sent it to you. And Steve, this will illustrate your point beautifully. Because we need you. And what's important when we'll describe it for those listening. When you're watching, the number is 9. That's his number. Watch. And this is where, we saw some of this back in the COVID bubble and then the season afterwards under Travis Green. Mm-hmm. JT Miller, when he decides to not play defense, is a straight leg guy. Now, if you're looking at the screenshot here, JT Miller, go back to just the beginning there, Jesse. JT Miller's got pretty good position here. He is the guy that the puck is at the bottom of the screen with that defenseman. JT Miller is the guy coming in on that defenseman. Notice he's wearing a letter, and he's gonna get beat here by this defenseman.
And for the people listening,
defenseman at the blue line on the near boards. JT Miller is going to gap up on him, and he's going to get beat pretty quickly. And what getting beat is fine. Defenseman dangles you, it happens. But here, if you keep going through this, Miller kind of, sort of chases him. But look at this. The puck actually gets intercepted by the Vancouver Canuck defense. They close in on 22.
Straight leg.
And look at Miller once Fiala loses the... I think that's Fiala, isn't it?
22, I think so.
Yeah, and look at Miller. Straight leg. Keep going. Straight leg. Straight leg. Oh, a little bit of a turn. Straight leg. Straight leg.
Man.
Straight leg.
That dude is
Back
just
of the
out
net.
there having a public skate.
If you're listening to this, I want you to imagine Pierre-Luc Dubois' last shift in Columbus. Remember that? How that went viral?
Honestly, there's an argument that last night's performance was worse
Is there?
than Dubois' last game in Columbus. Because there wasn't the whole performance around it.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't the huffy pregame. There was obviously the bad play during. Tocchet sewered him.
Well, I'm going to that.
Yeah.
But
We'll get to that. And then the whole performance on the bench.
so Miller and Tocchet get into it a little bit on the bench. Basically, Tocchet just says, "Go sit at the end of it."
Do we know that that's what happened?
That's what they showed on Sportsnet this morning on where Tim's doing the highlights.
Yeah.
And they said, you see Tocchet, they ISO Tocchet, and then they ISO Miller, and Miller gets up and moves to the end of the bench. Now, Rick Tocchet said a bunch of things that you would expect a head coach to say during the press conference. Mm-hmm. But Jesse, if you'll fast forward this clip, if you're queuing it up to 3:29, he gets asked specifically about JT Miller.
Is our coaching staff and the players, we got to figure this out.
Another low minute night for JT. Where does he need to fix? What needs to happen for him to get back?
Yeah,
to
he's struggling. He's caught in between. He's seems like every time he's on the ice, something bad happens. I think he's got some bad luck, but he's also got some reads that he's got to look at himself right now, focus on some of these reads. I mean, you can't dive in on the 4-on-4, things like that. I think he's trying sometimes, but I think the focus level has to get a little higher.
On the other end of things, you got 20.
We'll pause it. So here's my question to you guys. Are Vancouver Canucks management throwing the season away by not making a move on this?
We talk about this quite often. And where I usually come to, because I think the Canucks are a good team. I've thought it for a long time, dating back to them not even being in the playoffs. I think they're a good team.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a great team, a Stanley Cup contending team, when JT Miller is on in the fray with everyone else. Because look at last year's playoffs, took the Oilers to the brink, and you didn't even have Elias Pettersson playing well and all that. And I think the Canucks are looking at this like our best version of ourselves is with JT Miller on the team. If we trade JT Miller, we're not going to get fair value for JT Miller in the same way that if we trade Petey, we're not going to get fair value for him. And now I think it's just poison. Mm-hmm. This isn't, all right, hey, come on, let's encourage him. Let's try to... No, I think it's poison, and it's an enormous distraction off the ice. And on the ice, it's causing pucks to hit the back of their net frequently. It's not good.
An engaged JT Miller, Jesse, is one of the best playoff performers we've seen. I loved the way he played last year in the playoffs. Do you think that the Canucks are hurting his trade value by having him play like this in anticipation of a move that is now almost guaranteed to happen?
If you're another GM, you're happy about how this is unfolding right now in Vancouver, because you look at that and you say the worse that JT Miller plays, the more I can take advantage of this situation and the less I will have to pay for JT Miller once I acquire him, and he is then a good player again. Because I think wherever JT Miller lands, whether it's this offseason, whether it's before the trade deadline, he's going to turn around and be a good player again. Because usually people in these situations, it's that situation. Once you take them out of it, there'll be that jump and that boost back to his usual self. So it's definitely, it sucks for Vancouver, but what can you do besides keep trying and plugging him out there? Like, you're trading him at the very bottom of his value isn't great.
No.
And I don't know, even if you had JT Miller playing at the best of his abilities, though, that the Vancouver Canucks are a very good team this year, because they've been hurt by so many injuries, and the way they're playing hockey isn't a recipe for success. They can't.
They just got Hronek back.
They did, but they can't defend. They can't defend the lead. That's throughout this entire season, they've struggled with holding big leads, and they're giving up so many rush chances. I saw some of the stats on the rush chances that they're allowing. They've allowed the same amount of rush chances through this point in the season that they allowed all last season. They're a completely different team defensively, and I don't know if having a good JT Miller helps them. And this just might be some sort of I don't know if it's a lost season if you sneak into the second wild card, but I don't think they're going deep in a playoff run. So you might as well hold on and get maximum value for JT Miller.
Let me show you something. 'Cause I texted you the shift chart.
Sure. From this game?
Yeah, from
You want me to just click
this game. What?
You want me to just click?
Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead. Okay. I don't know why I screenshot it.
Okay,
You literally have it up.
Yeah.
He's near the top. So you talked about like just having JT Miller out there and you try to force it. He's not out there.
Yeah.
Look at the shift chart. He's not out there. They're not playing this player. So it's not a matter of just keep playing him and push through and we'll get through this. They're not using this player. And it's $8 million, dude. It's over $8 million or whatever it is. At this point, you'd be better off trading them and throwing anyone else in the lineup, because if you're not even going to use the player, if you're not even going to give him the opportunity to rectify this situation, then we're done here.
Is this
easier said than done?
I could see like a trade happening with the Canucks and they send away Miller and they get like value back in pieces, but it still doesn't make them good. You know?
right? You're never going to replace JT Miller 1-for-1.
Yeah. And you're not trading JT Miller, I don't know, fixes the way they're playing defense.
Yeah.
It's kind of true.
The top of this draft is real good.
That's what you're thinking about now?
They can't be.
I don't know if they fall that
do you
far.
think?
No,
No.
but maybe if you get 2 or 3 picks and you're able to get up into the lottery.
Wow.
I think they're good enough where there's enough pieces where it's more of like a refresh